Welcome, everybody, to podcast number 230. Are you tracking procurement early and often enough? Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I had just finished looking at the outline for this podcast, and then I'm like, you know what? I feel a little bit sick to my stomach. I probably ought to just tell everyone how I'm feeling. So funny thing, tonight I took a group of the youth at church out, basically to stay close, stay connected. We went out to K1 Speed. I call it K1 Speedway. I don't know why. But anyway, my son Reno drove me there while I was finishing up a proposal. And I obviously got car sick and then started racing. And I loved racing those go-karts. Well, they're not ghost carts. They're like mini little electric race cars. But anyway, I think they go pretty fast, but it's a lot of fun. I've always beaten my son until tonight. He got first place. So I'm super happy for him, super bummed out for me. But anyway, then I get in the car, or the race car, and my stomach is sick. And then I sound like I'm whining, don't I? But anyway, and then, okay, so then I got in the race car. And so then I got queasy in the car. And then when I got done, I finished the proposal on the way to In-N-Out and got queasy because I was working on my computer again. And then I ate a double and some fries and got queasy again. And then I ate Cold Stone. And then Reno drove me. So like the whole night, I've been doing everything I can to be a little bit queasy and sick to my stomach. Anyway, I don't even know I wasted your time with that. I'm just telling you, if you hear something different in my voice, it's probably because I'm about to throw up. and now it's 9:39 and I have got to get this wonderful podcast out because it is fan stinking tastic. We have some great content for you tonight. So I hope you're doing well and enjoying life. And I hope you enjoy what you do and all the opportunities out there for you. Somebody the other day told me, hey, I'd like somebody just once to recognize that things aren't always perfect. In your podcast, Jason, it's always positive. It's not, hey, we really screwed that up and this went really badly. I'll do a better job of putting more of that stuff in there because I screw up like really badly all the time. So I want to give you a little quote that illustrates that life isn't perfect. Now, this is a quote from one of my favorite leaders of all time. He was a church leader, actually president of the church. His name's Gordon B. Hinckley. I felt so close to him that when he died, I wept like a little child. Like, absolutely great man. He was quoting a newspaper columnist, Jenkins Lloyd Jones. And here's what it says. Anyone who imagines that bliss is normal is going to waste a lot of time running around shouting that he's been robbed. The fact is that most putts don't drop, most beef is tough, most children grow up to be just ordinary people, most successful marriages require a high degree of mutual toleration, most jobs are more often dull than otherwise. Life is like an old-time rail journey, delays, sidetracks, smoke, dust, cinders, and jolts, interspersed only occasionally by beautiful vistas and thrilling bursts of speed. The trick is to thank the Lord for letting you have the ride. And I really enjoyed that. I don't know if you can hear the helicopter coming over me. Yep, that's pretty loud. And we did such a good job of soundproofing this shed. I guess when you get really high vibration, that gets kind of crazy. Anyway, okay, so the helicopter's done. But anyway, here's what it says. The trick is to thank the Lord for letting you have the ride. And I really like that. A lot of times, things are difficult. But that doesn't mean that we give up, right? We keep going with massive action until we can make massive progress in the way that we want to and head in the direction towards more progress, total participation, better families, safer job sites, better work-life balance, and more fulfillment at work. We always keep trying. It's never going to be perfect. And there was another thought that I was going to share with you. Control is an illusion. Anytime that we think we're in control of something, that's really just an illusion. What we need to do is realize that we have a lack of control and attempt to see as best we can through visual cues, visual schedules, visual learning, visual systems, visual workplaces, problems when the problems happen, so that we can react and do the best with what we have, because life is not perfect. And the fact is that there's problems everywhere we go. Remember that control is simply an illusion. What you're wanting to do is know the stark reality of what's going on and always attempt to do better, to improve, and to keep going forward with massive action. I don't know if you can hear that outside, but there are police cars and sirens and all kinds of craziness outside. I wonder if something bad happened. Maybe I should say a prayer for them. But anyway, if you hear any noise, I apologize. I have got to get this podcast out because it's some good stuff. So one more thing really quickly here. One more point to prove that In-N-Out is not only the best hamburger joint on earth, simply because it's consistent and lean and fast and cheap, and also delicious if you've grown up with that. But they're the ultimate lean company. So I told you I have 11 kiddos. When my wife and I and the kids go out, we have 13 people. And here's the order. Now we're all normal people. This sounds like a lot of food, but I'm just telling you that, like, we love, Reno doesn't, but all the rest of us love In-N-Out. In fact, my daughter, Emery, will be like, can we go to In-N-Out? Can we go to In-N-Out? Anyway, if you don't know what In-N-Out is, I apologize that you're not living life to your fullest potential, because until you've smelled those grilled onions and the grease and all of that, you just haven't lived life. You know what I mean? Like, there's just parts of life that you're not going to experience until you come to the West Coast and check it out. But anyway, so we go and I order 7 cheeseburgers with ketchup only, 5 fries for them, waters for everybody. So that's waters for 13 people. And then I do 5 double doubles, protein style with grilled onions. And then I do 1 double protein style grilled onions, no cheese. My wife does 2 Flying Dutchman, and then we order 4 more fries, and then I get 4 vanilla shakes and 3 chocolate. We don't want to be excessive. So 4 vanilla shakes and 3 chocolate shakes, and then they're like, okay, that'll be $89, like something stupid. Well, it's probably even more than that. But so we go through the drive-through, and they're like, somebody will inevitably yell out, I need like 350 patties right now, like they start freaking out. But what happened when I was going through the drive-through the other day, when I was done and they gave me the order, they were like, large orders out. And that signaled to everybody that was swarming to get that meal out that their one-piece flow, that big meal, was done, and that everyone could stop swarming. I'm looking at my my Logic Pro here, and the wavelengths sound like they're really loud. I don't know if I'm yelling all of a sudden. Anyway, so when they were like, okay, large order out, I realized that a lot of people stopped what they were doing to get that one order out. And that in IPD, Integrated Project Delivery, and in Lean is called swarming, because the more work in progress that you have with separate people assigned to it, the less productive you're going to be. When something needs to be done, sometimes it's best to just swarm everyone to attack that and get it out the door. And then I was like, yep, I'm totally right. This is another lean principle that proves that In-N-Out is a lean company. So the other thing, I was watching the movie Pacific Rim Uprising. I like it because I like big creatures and robots and stuff, but it's not that great of a movie. But anyway, so if you ever watch it, at the end, they're attacking these 3 separate monsters. And they're all like, hey, you've got that monster, I've got this. And they all separate and they all lose. And I realized in the movie, why don't you just swarm and take down one monster at a time, meaning 3 against 1? And unless obviously the other ones come at you, which eventually they would, right? But there's some time there to attack one at a time. But why don't you kill one monster at a time? And I was just like, why don't we, in hard situations, just swarm? Like if we have something crazy on the job site, or a large portion of work, or a huge submittal or whatever, why don't we swarm and get that out? When we divide our forces to the point where we're not focused, sometimes that goes counterintuitive. So wanted to make 2 points. Swarming is good. A lot of times when we divide and conquer, we don't think about whether or not there's a need for swarming. And one last time, I want to prove that In-N-Out, not only the best hamburgers consistently, right? I've had better hamburgers at like Five Guys or Seven Brothers or something, but consistently, I'm loving me some In-N-Out. So I wanted to open that podcast with that tonight. And we're already at 10 minutes and I haven't given you any value. So let's get going. So this is the last one from Elevating Construction Superintendents, the principle that didn't make it in. Principle 16 was going to be Principle 16, one of the sections, treasure hunts. Treasure hunts on a project site occur when a worker has to stop working to seek out necessary tools or material. The hunting down of tools and materials wastes an incredible amount of time and hurts morale. It slows down productivity and creates more motion, which is waste, and also creates the higher likelihood of safety incidents. Treasure hunts can be reduced by the proper organization and staging of materials and tools. This is a must if we are to meet our production needs on site and be safe. If a superintendent observed treasure hunts occurring on his or her project, it needs to be corrected with a massive organizational effort. Treasure hunts are a sign of dysfunctional leadership and a lack of team organization. So that's the last one. Kind of sad. I'm saying goodbye to the sections that didn't make their way into the book. But I will say that book is making great progress, getting lots of really good responses, and people are using that book for training and doing their superintendent boot camps. So I'm loving it. Just absolutely loving life with that. So what am I excited about in life? So I do want to give you a little bit of a heads up, and I'll be prepared for this ahead of time. But from the 20th to the 25th, I will be out at Business Mastery for Tony Robbins. So Tony Robbins hosts this really great, it might even be 6 days, 20, 21, 22, 23, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, so that's 6 days, where they take some of the best business minds in the States, and it's virtual, unfortunately, and they really, put you through the ringer, have you play full out, basically fully engaged, and you're learning how to take your business to the next level. And so that's what I'm doing because I want Elevate to scale. I think we're at a position where we're close to needing to scale to get out there to more people, more clients, and really appreciate what everybody's doing. If you are wanting to or considering signing up on a retainer, do that soon because my slots for an ongoing monthly retainer are being scooped up, and I won't have any personally. When we scale, with Spencer and others, we'll have more capacity. But just make sure that if you're interested in taking your next step as a company, please reach out and let me know now, please. So I'm going to this business coaching program. Tony Robbins is fantastic. In fact, tomorrow I promise to talk to you about his program, Unleash the Power Within, and why you need that program and why you should sign up right away. So that's going to be fantastic. So that's what I'm excited about. And I do want to say the reason I have a business today where I am doing better mentally with my family, with life, and in every aspect of my life than when I had a day job in operations, which I appreciated, by the way, because it gave me that basis, that background. But why am I doing better today? Because I paid for a $2,000 Tony Robbins Mastermind course, and then the Shay Rowbottom LinkedIn advertising course, and then signed up for the Patrick Lencioni Kappa Pro program, the Robbins Madonna's coaching program, and then the next training after next training. And if you go do training, which they have out there, you can take your next step. You can absolutely take your next step and do such remarkable things that it will blow your mind, and you will go 10 times farther than you ever thought you could. So I just want to say, with education, with progress, with information comes not only your profitability, but your next step. All right, one more thing here before we get started. Let's talk about I'm going to call them fans, because we have some pretty cool fans out there. So here was the response from one of our cool listeners, fans. I enjoyed Elevating Construction Superintendents. My lean background is in a manufacturing environment. I felt that the respect for people was missing from the current manufacturing leaders, implementation methods. Your book puts people first. It's exactly how I envision a lean cultural change. I'm currently exploring roles in construction leadership and look forward to utilizing your book as a resource. Thank you very much. And I want to say no thank you, because having these bits of feedback is absolutely can't even talk, absolutely over the top fantastic. So here's some conflict for us. You are not tracking procurement early and often enough. So here are some little snippets from my life. So when I was in operations, and this was for quite some time, I would go visit projects and check in on. Oh, first of all, and I don't think this is a secret, Hensel Phelps had this thing called the Book of 14. Used to be called Bosted's Book of 14. J.W. Bosted was an operations manager. Very, very good stuff. People would underestimate it, but there are 14 key parts of the business in construction management that would have to be going well for the project to go well. 14 key items. And I just got used to memorizing those. I could spew them out to you right now if I wasn't afraid of releasing some kind of key secret that Hensel Phelps had. But it's in my mind, and there's a number of different things that just always stay with me, of things that you check when you go to a job. It's just a given that you have to check. In procurement, whether you call it the transmittal and delivery log, the procurement log, the submittal register, whether it's done on a project management program or Excel or whatever, logging or tracking the dates for procurement is what I'm talking about. So I'm going to call it a procurement log. I would literally go to projects and check out their schedule. Schedule's only 75%, and the procurement log is like 33%. They're like, we'll get to it. I'm like, we'll get to it. Hold on a minute. If anything's done, like before you even submit your first pay app, your procurement log has to be done. If you can get the materials on site, then we can build it. But if you can't get the materials on site, nobody can build anything. So when that happens, the materials are late, there's no consistency, and it's really kind of chaotic. And so I worked with and I'll just tell you his name, Ryan Young. I absolutely love that guy. And Derek Kirkland was the project executive at the time when we were doing the research laboratory together. And Ryan was like, as soon as we got started in pre-con, he set up exterior skin coordination meetings. Ever since that time in design, I set up two things: elevator coordination, exterior skin coordination. If there's, escalators or moving walkways or complex tile or something like that, I'll set up those as well. But I am not, under any circumstances, going to wait even 1 week in design and pre-construction before I start to get these critical supply chains moving. I used to tour jobs a lot. Actually, I still do. I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I get there and the building looks great. The superstructure's up, site work's going great. The interiors of the building's going great. And guess what? There's no glass. Oh, what a surprise. Couldn't have seen that coming. Every stinking job, the curtain wall is late. Every stinking job, it's not on time. And it's like, when are we going to get the point that we need to order that stuff in schematic design? Like, find out the shape of this building and determine what the skin system is. We'll figure out what goes in this box later. But we need to get the skin going. Anyway, so that was one thing. Start early, get that coordinated. When the elevator person says 80 days, no. I want to know every step. I want to know the points to release. I want a detailed schedule. The other thing is procurement log. Let's get that bad boy or girl, I don't know what's acceptable. Let's get that thing dialed in ASAP. You got specs, we need a procurement log. You can get new specs and update the procurement log. I love it. Here's the bottom line. When you think back to examples like World War II, Patton with his Third Army, I think it wasn't the Seventh Army, it was the Third Army at this time, he would have just gone right into Berlin and killed Hitler himself. What happened to him? Why didn't he do that? He ran out of fuel. The Allies they didn't run out of fuel, but they had shortages and they rerouted the fuel to General Montgomery. And Patton was stuck. He had to just pause. And so he had the willpower, the fighting power, the men, he had the ammunition, he had the equipment, he had the tenacity, he had the plan, but he didn't have the fuel. If we can go win this war if we have the materials. Always pay attention to your supply lines. If you are a superintendent, you have to focus on your supply lines. So the principle is we has got to get that procurement log going as fast as we can. When I talk about a procurement log, and like I said, nobody ever in the hundreds of jobs that I've dealt with, nobody has ever impressed me with their procurement log. Even when it's in CMIC or Procore or Prologue or any of these. No, not impressed. Like, even when you tie it to your CPM schedule, well, you just made it worse now. Now you've just made your deliveries like all over the place, like not impressed at all. So what I'm saying is, if I see somebody, even with a basic Excel log, but it's filled out and they use it, I'm impressed. When somebody says, oh, I filled it out once and I've automated it, tied it to the schedule, not impressed. When somebody manages it, I'm impressed. When they have meetings every week and covering it, I'm impressed. When they're like, yeah, that should be good, not impressed. Yeah, we have to take care of procurement. So when I'm talking about a procurement log, let's just talk about like a little basic Excel log. On the left, you're going to see your spec section, your description of the work, the trade partner that's in charge of it. And then working from right to left, variance days, required on job date, actual date on site, the delivery duration in weeks, which is something you pre-fill out, ship date, lead time in weeks, which is something you should fill out based on the information from the vendors and the trade partner, submittal over under days, required submittal approval date, actual approved submittal date, design team approval duration in weeks pre-filled out with the design team. Also check your Division 1 specs for this in your prime agreement. Sent to design team date, submittal review in weeks, get that from your designers in Division 1 in your prime agreement. Received submittal prep duration in weeks, actual release date for trade partner, and drop dead release date for the trade partner. And those formulas should be automatic. And why I'm saying this, if you've got specs, you know what the materials are. We know when it needs to happen because we have a takt plan. Every great job has a takt plan. If you don't have a takt plan, you're not a great job yet, but give me a call. We'll come out and help you become a great job. We have to have this. And so you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, Jason, you have just wasted 5 minutes of my life that I'll never get back. Why in the world are you talking to me about a procurement log on a podcast? That's pretty basic. Well, here's why. Of the jobs I visit, literally only 15% of the jobs do a good job with this. And so here's what I'm going to say. Please don't let me offend you. No. Let me offend you and then forgive me. No. Get really, really upset. Stop listening to the podcast. I'm just kidding. Whatever you're going to do, however you're going to react to this, I'm telling you, you're not doing this the right way. Why would I say that? Is it because I'm judgmental? Is it because I love pissing people off? No, none of those things. I'm just telling you, there's literally no way that you're managing procurement the way you should be. It's literally, other than safety, one of the, because safety is the single most important thing. And anybody that knows me knows that I'm not just saying that. So procurement's like literally the single most important thing that you can do once you have your schedule. So you got to do it, and we got to have it be better, and it can't be robotic. And I swear, if you tell me something stupid, like I've got it in Procore, or I've got it in CMIC, and I've got the activity codes to P6, I'm literally going to freak over here in the corner of my shed because that does nothing. All that means is once you've tied it to CPM, okay, that means your dates are changing every week. Thanks. Appreciate that. That's going to be super helpful. Whoever thought of that, we ought to give them a medal. And here's just one more thing. I got my second and third call about people criticizing me for CPM. Like, this will be quick. I won't bore you. Dude, 24%, only 24% of projects planned in CPM are relatively successful. Anybody out there that's like, oh, but this and that, without any accusation, because Kitty says I accidentally accuse people and I offend people. If you think CPM is still needed, if you think CPM is still the answer, then you don't know takt planning well enough. And I wrote the book for you because I love you. I've got my index fingers. No, is that what you call them? Anyway, the four main fingers curled up in a circle and my thumbs touching, and I've got a little heart symbol for you. I love you. And because I love you, I'm going to keep standing firm with the fact that CPM is just not going to work. Actually, it's a garbage system. I've never gone to a project and not had it hurt us from a flow standpoint, and it's not going to help you when you tie it to procurement. Literally, I'm telling you, you're doing this wrong, and I need you to stop. So humble yourself. You know I love you. You know me. I love you. I'm just being straight with you because if I sugarcoat it, you're going to be like, oh, that's a good idea. I don't care if it's a good idea. I want you to stop and start doing it the right way Okay, so here's the deal. Procurement shouldn't move all the time. It shouldn't move all the time. You should have a takt plan, and you should bring your materials out ahead of the right inventory buffers on a consistent flow. And that date, with the exception of moving the schedule wholesale forward or backwards, should hold fairly well so that you can keep those dates consistent and hold the trade partners accountable. As soon as you give trade partners different dates, in fact, I've even had in the past trade partners come in with a log, and there's like 32 columns in here. And they say, here's your schedule update over the last 32 weeks. And here's how each date was different. Which one do you want me to follow? And how do you expect me to be the one that's responsible for this not being here on time? And then you look at the log and you get this sheepish like feeling like, oh my gosh, they're right. And then you're like, wait, but I work for the general contractor. I have to somehow put up a fight. Jason Schroeder, I just admit that it's wrong and work from there. Other people start to like falsely fight and save face, even though that they know we've screwed up the whole system. Dude, like, or gal, or dudette, whatever, like we have got to stop doing this. When it comes to materials, we need to have pretty consistent dates. They might change once or twice, but they're not going to change every week. And please don't let CPM change it every week, because that's exactly what's going to happen. So with procurement, what we need is a stable system. The reason that takt planning works so well and is a superior system over CPM is because it stabilizes the supply chains with flow and stable dates. And so that doesn't matter at all if we don't keep procurement stable with stable dates as well. So here are a couple of tips and tricks for you that will bless your life. First and foremost, and I probably will say this again, the project manager, the project engineers, and the superintendent at a minimum should be in a procurement meeting every week on the project site, unless it's a teeny tiny job, should be in a procurement meeting, and there should be an artful approach to procurement, because procurement is not a science, it is an art form. It is, and I want to say that again, there is 0% of it which is a science. Meaning people are like, oh, I took the procurement log, I filled it out from a review, and I even had Pipe do it for me, and then I I tied the activity codes to it, so now every time we do an update in P6, meaning every time P6 tries to crash land us and like slam dates together and change it and create variation on us, I've got it tied. So now not only does the CPM schedule like have variation and want us to crash land, now I've actually also done that with my procurement too. So now I've got two things trying to fail on the job site. Like, whoa. Hold on a minute. Like, we're not even thinking about this. Like, literally, it's because of the sins of our fathers that we're doing this. People have done this before without thinking about it, and they just do it over and over and over and over. You can't do that. Absolutely, you cannot do that. What we need is a flow, a takt plan, and people are like, well, it's not automated. All right. Let me see if I can just calm myself down before I go on another rant. It will take you 17 million times as long to connect activity codes to your procurement log with P6 and to do the updates than it will to just go through your procurement log in a meeting and identify the dates from the takt plan. So I don't care about your stupid concern that it's not automated. None of this should be automated. Procurement is an art form, and procurement needs to be monitored on a weekly basis with the team. So when you get into this meeting, what you all need to be doing is, look at the log 1 week, or even split it up as different parts of the meeting. Look at the procurement log. Then 1 week, you're going to go through the model and you're going to see if there's any crazy little pieces of procurement. Then another week, you're going to map out the value stream, map out the supply chains for critical procurement, and make sure that you have the release dates. And another week, you're going to identify the point of release dates for the exterior skin. And you're going to put those on Outlook for the field measurement dates or the point of release dates, so the project management team knows to check with the trade partner that those measurements and orders or shipments were actually released. And then another week, you're going to do a plan flip. And then another week, you're going to do something different to where you can go out and see, you're going to do a field walk and make sure that all the materials are coming. Then you're going to look at the 6-week make ready look ahead. I mean, you're going to look at artistically every week what you need to look at to check to make sure that all materials are coming here on time, just in time, ahead of the right inventory buffers. That meeting is critical. So I'm telling you, because I love you, don't be mad. Somebody else on a different podcast is going to fluff you up and like make you feel all sugary and butterfly and rainbowy, and like tell you soft, cushiony, cotton candy, I don't even, they'll tell you cotton candy kind of things, and you'll feel like safe and comfortable, like you're on cocaine, and you'll just want to like float off into the distance. No, that's not how we're doing things. You need to be like, you need to hear this right now. You are doing this wrong. If you are a superintendent and you are not in a procurement meeting every week with your peeps, you literally need to repent. Like, get down on your knees right now and repent and say, please forgive me for my abominations, for my laziness, for my apathy. I repent, and I will have procurement meetings going forward. So let's go through this. Here are some tips and tricks. Start right away. As soon as you start your project in design, as soon as you start your project in pre-construction or in design, you need to start procurement meetings at least once a month, but you at least need to start the exterior and the elevator procurement and coordination meetings. Okay. Always from the specs, do a thorough review to make sure you've captured all the materials. While you're doing that, also distill down from the specs a testing and inspection register. That will come in handy. Align all of your procurement not to P6. I'm telling you right now, I don't care if somebody tries to sue me for this, because I'm right. Align your procurement to your takt plan, not to your CPM schedule. Under no circumstances are you to link that thing to your CPM schedule. It's either to your takt plan or your 6-week make ready look ahead, or they're like hand typed in. There's no automation. I want it typed in and linked to these dates that you're going to keep in your hold and that you're going to hold. Have those procurement meetings and make them remarkable. If you don't know how to run great meetings, no big deal. I didn't know either. I'm still working on it, although I'm pretty darn good at it. Read Death by Meeting by Patrick Lencioni and make the procurement review meeting one of the most impactful and interesting meetings on the entire job. Really drive this, especially if you're a superintendent. And break out materials by area. Do not allow, under any circumstances, materials to be brought out all by floor. Don't let the duct come out all by floor. Don't let the sprinkler pipe come out all by floor. Don't let casework come out all by floor. If you're like, well, I talked to the trade partners and they said they can't get the deliveries to break it out by takt zone, they're going to bring it out. No. False, wrong answer. You get no points. Go back, figure it out. I don't care about your excuses. Figure it out. I want the materials brought out by area, by the takt plan, period. End of story. I don't want your excuses. Just go get it done. You're smart enough, you're brilliant enough, and we love you enough. Just go get it done. Only bring out materials just in time by area ahead of the right inventory buffers. Excess inventory is almost as bad as overproduction, and those two are the mothers. Maybe it's the mother and the father. Mother and father, they're the parents of all other wastes. If you want to slow down a project, like if somebody said, Jason, go slow down this project without anybody knowing and make them lose $1 million. I would go talk to the project engineer or the PM and talk them in to bringing out more materials than needed and storing them on the project site. That's it. Done. They'll end up at least minus $500,000 by the time they're done with this thing. Do not, under any circumstances, bring materials out all by floor, all by building. You cannot do it. And right now, as you're thinking, well, Jason's net, stop it. Like, you're killing me with this. Please just be quiet and rethink your life and go figure this out. But it's going to cost $20,000. I don't care. I don't care what it costs. We can either spend $200,000 moving this crap around, or you can spend the $2,500 getting an extra truck. Like, I think it's pretty common sense. Just get it done. Okay, second thing, now that I'm done ranting about that. And you PEs, you're still out thinking me over there. You're like, you're still thinking I'm wrong about that. You gotta stop it. I want you to bring out the materials by area ahead of the dates, just in time ahead of the inventory buffers. Okay, the other thing is mock-ups. Mock-ups are kind of a waste of time if you don't get them out there soon enough. So whether it's a first in place or it's an actual mock-up, we need to start on those day one. Like schematic design, what's our mock-up? Because most of the time, It's not even a performance mock-up or a design mock-up, literally for the exterior skin. It just ends up being an aesthetical, I don't even know how to say it, an assembly mock-up for aesthetics. That's it. Like they're already stuck. We've already ordered the glass. We've already ordered the metal panels. So when we assemble it in a mock-up, they're like, okay. We would have seen that no matter what when the building was put up. But I guess it's nice to see this $100,000 mock-up here. Here's the deal. If you're in Phoenix, go to Field Verified, Brian Melcher's office. He will build you a mock-up early for probably a tenth of the cost of what you would build it on site, and it will be done earlier. All mock-ups on the project need to be done right away and need to be a part of your procurement log. Okay, and then you need to verify in everything that you're doing with procurement that you get a second set of eyes and that you have the right approach, right? So when your exterior is a little bit more complex, right? When you're in the exterior, you're going to validate the design, the materials, the interfaces, the assembly of those interfaces, make sure that all of those are compatible, identify the assembly steps, and then verify that it's being assembled right in the QC process. So there's different levels of complexity. I'm not going to teach you right now how to, review a submittal. Your company has training for that. My point is, if you don't have a way to track it and track everything and use this as a project engineer daily as a tool, then we are failing and you're not doing it right. And if the superintendent is not in there, we are failing and you are not doing it right. We have to get this done the right way. I'll say one thing that I've often said in the project engineer boot camps that we do. A project engineer or office engineer does not manage tools. They are not there to do RFIs. They are not there to do submittals. They are not there to do tools. They're there to oversee a scope of work from the beginning of that scope of work all the way to where the contractor leaves, and we verify that all of their change orders are closed and that they're finished with their work. 100%. That's how it goes. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And in order for us to do that, we have to, basically we're inspecting the design, the coordination, the visualization, the approval, the fabrication, the delivery, and the installation, the proper installation, the testing of the installation, the closeout of the installation of a scope of work. So basically, it's not just about submittals. It's not just about tools. It's not just about RFIs. You are there to make sure that our supply chains, if you're in the office and the project superintendent in the office, you are there to make sure that we are 100% successful when it comes to materials. So now I'm going to just do a little overview here of the quality process. And this quality process is something that I use on every project. I absolutely love this quality process, and most of it deals with materials. So here we go. Okay, so when we're looking at the teaming portion of the job, that is all about making sure that we have the right scope purchased. In the pre-mobilization meeting, we are asking the contractor, whether by email or in an actual meeting, to break up their scope by features of work, to make sure that they get all of their submittals prepared, all of their JHAs, anything that is required to get the submittals done on time and to research their work and how to assemble the actual parts and pieces. When we get down to the pre-installation meeting, sometimes called a pre-construction meeting, then what we are doing is reviewing those materials, and we are reviewing the scope of work with the foreman and maybe even the superintendent, the foreman, maybe even the lead men or women on the project site, and making sure that they understand how those materials are to be assembled in the field. When we do the initial inspection, we are really there making sure that the crew understands how to assemble those materials. We're doing follow-up walks. It's the same thing, a verification that product is going in the right way on the project site. And then obviously your rolling completion list. So when it goes from buyout to pre-mobilization meeting to your pre-construction meeting to your initial inspection, follow-up walks, follow-up inspections, your rolling completion list, it's all about materials. That's all about the supply chain. That is all about procurement. That is all about materials. And so project engineers supervise, help, assist, and support the installation of materials from beginning to end. They oversee scopes, even if they have geographical assignments, and they need to make sure that they're looking at their job that way. The bottom line is that procurement will make and break us on the project. If right now you don't have a procurement log that's 100%, that is tied to your takt plan, that is reviewed with your 6-week make ready look ahead, and you don't have a superintendent in your meetings weekly, then we have massive problems. That needs to be the next first thing that you do. Let's listen to Anna on Frozen 2. It's Anna, Elsa. No, one of them sings, let's just do the next right thing. The next right thing is to get the procurement log up and running. And if you don't, well, hey, it's your career. I love you. I tried to warn you. I didn't try. I actually warned you. I did it with some passion. The current condition is only about 15% of people, jobs, actually even come close to doing this right. We have to get better. Here's my challenge. Get those supers in a weekly meeting. Get that procurement log on up. Do not, for the love of all things holy, tie that to CPM. Make sure that it's tied to your tax plan. Make sure that you have dates. Treat it like an art form, not a science. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and